why most home inspectors look the same and why their marketing doesn't work. So I want to say that most home inspectors don't really have a marketing problem as much as they have a sameness problem. I talked to a lot of home inspectors, like I hear kind of the same things over and over. It's, you know, my marketing is not working. I post on Instagram, or referrals come in, but they're not predictable, or sometimes the realtor needs me, sometimes they don't. It's kind of a thing where they rely on luck a lot of times, and they think that posting videos on Instagram is kind of the answer to that. If only I made more content. Another thing I hear is, oh, well, everyone's skipping the home inspection. Like the buyers need to be educated. They just don't know. I actually had one guy tell me one time that we need to give them more fear. Like we got to put a fire under their ass and like get them going to get these home inspections. And I don't think that's the case at all. Actually, I think something is going on here. It's completely different. It's missing the point. And that thing is that most home inspectors kind of all look and sound the same. I don't know if it's because of the industry itself hasn't changed since for 20 years. It's kind of all the same messaging, but I see the same websites saying the same things, the same designs. It's, we'll give you peace of mind. We'll give you clear reports. We'll find defects, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The same Instagram posts. So it's, I'm in an attic here. Here's this pipe that's broken, or this AC valve is being pinched off by something. And these things aren't bad in and of themselves. Like, it's cool that you're going out there and you're creating content. That's hard work. It is valuable to show people what you do. But I think the issue here is that it's missing a bigger point. People are selling the home inspection where I don't think it's what people really want. There's no emotion to what we're doing. There's no higher calling towards something else aside from the fact that you're providing a service for people. And a lot of times the issue comes down to, it's not so much that selling the home inspection service is bad. It just comes off as me too. Everyone's like saying, pick me, pick me. It's almost begging in a way, where I think the real opportunity is to take that idea of a home inspection, bring it up to a different level. And that's what I would kind of get at here. The issue is, like I said, if you're saying the same things as everyone else, you look the same, you're going to get treated the same as everyone else. If you put yourself in someone's shoes who's looking for a home inspection, say they're a home buyer, right? And they type in home inspector in Miami. That's where I'm at. I'm in Miami. They'll get, the map packed and have 3 local people that are at the top. Maybe you have some paid ads there with paid Google ads. But you're going to find a lot of home inspectors, and if the home buyer doesn't know what to look for, they're going to have a hard time figuring out what makes you different. So say that they click on the first 2, the website's the same, the messaging is the same. We'll protect you, peace of mind. We have thorough walkthroughs, great service, licensed and insured. And I was like, okay, well, that sounds good. And they go to the next guy, and they see the same thing, right? What ends up happening is the home buyer has a hard time understanding who to choose. And so if you're the home buyer, what are you going to do to choose? There's only one real lever you can pull, which is price. So what does this mean? It means that when you get the call from the home buyer who's looking for a home inspector, what do they say? Hey, man, found you online. What do you charge for a home inspection, right? You say, oh, I charge $400, $500. Okay, cool, I'll call you back. And most of the time, they don't call you back. So what ends up happening is, because of everyone has the same messaging, same presence online, people will price shop you. You'll get these people just call around trying to find the best person, the best price. So the thing is, you can't blame them. Can you really blame someone for going with price if they don't know what makes you different? There's no other value to choose from. So they pull the easiest thing they know, that lever of price. So that's a real issue that's going on here. Foundationally, the architecture of what most home inspectors are building isn't rising to the top. It's sitting at the bottom as a commodity service, and that's why people are getting price shopped. Go to my notes here. So getting to the real problem, I've touched upon it a bit here, is that it's not so much a marketing problem as the industry itself, I think, has a commodity problem. And I don't know why exactly this issue came about, or why home inspection marketing and messaging hasn't evolved since 2005. I know a lot of companies sell software, website design, social media, and so maybe there's an incentive for them to kind of replicate that in a way that's easier for them. I don't really know, but I think the opportunity is to bring it up to another level, and I'll tell you those 3 levels here in a moment. Going back to the commodity thing, I want to hit upon this really quickly, is that most home inspectors that I see and talk to are operating at, I'll call this level 1. Okay, say there's a ladder, there's 3 rungs of this ladder. Level 1 is you're a technician, right? So you're licensed, you're insured, you have reviews, all these things. You're NACHI certified, all the certifications in the world. You're honest, you're truthful, you're family owned. Great. That's not a bad thing either. The issue is that you should have those things. You're a home inspector. You're going to come inside my home and help me or inspect the house. This is a huge decision. I hope to God you're certified. I hope to God you have the knowledge to do the job. The issue is that's the baseline. That's the barrier to get into the field itself. And the way I think about this is I've worked in a restaurant for many years. I've been a server for many years, right? If I'm a restaurant owner and my whole spiel, my whole pitch to you is, we know how to cook. We have real chefs. Or my kitchen's clean. We have no cockroaches. You should eat here. It's not very convincing, right? That's the barrier just to be a kitchen, be a restaurant. Those are things you have to have. And unfortunately, that's where most home inspection and the industry itself, I think, sits at and relies on way too much. And I think that's the opportunity that you have with home inspections going forward, is to raise the standards, raise the messaging to something bigger, more aspirational. And that's what I want to talk to here about now. So we've seen that, most home inspectors are commodities. They're being price shopped. They think educating the buyer, if only we could put some fear into them, we could get them up to, buying our inspections more. But the truth is this is the whole idea, is that people don't buy your inspections. People don't want your home inspection. You're probably saying, well, Seneca, you're full of it, man. What are you talking about? I'm a home inspector. People want this. No, home inspections are the vehicle to something bigger. What they want is a transformation, right? Buyers don't care a lot about, the electrical panel being broken or, the technical details, right? And I go to a car shop. I don't know a lot about cars, for example. I just want to know that my car's fixed and I don't have to worry, right? I think it's the same principle with home inspections. But, we get caught up in, again, selling the product of a home inspection, where it's like, I'll find defects. I'll find all these things. Where in reality, those are good things. That's the vehicle, though. That's the vehicle that's delivering what people really want. And what is it that they want? They want confidence. They want clarity. They want relief from anxiety. They want someone to say, hey, man, this is what's wrong, right? I see these problems, and this is what you should do or not do. I'm an unbiased opinion observer, but based off of what I've seen in the house, you can either move forward with confidence, or you could perhaps renegotiate the deal, right? It's someone that's saying, I'm going to take you through the process. I'm going to hold your hand, and I'll make sure that you are guided towards the right decision. And the mindset shift that you need to have here is that as a home inspector, you are not the hero of the story. The buyer is the hero, right? And that one shift will kind of make everything come into focus here when you think about what it exactly is I'm speaking about here. So what is it that you're doing? You're probably thinking, okay, Seneca, if I'm not selling a home inspection, what exactly is it that people are buying from me? And I have a couple notes here that I go over. You're interpreting, right? So you're going into a home, there's these technical details that a lot of people might not know about, right? So you're translating the language of homes into a language that they can understand. So you're an interpreter or a translator. You're diagnosing. You're like a doctor. You're going in there and you're checking the vitals. You're checking underneath everything. You want to make sure everything's running well, right? And then you're going to interpret what all that means to them. You're giving them leverage, right? You're stabilizing the deal, right? Those are higher level ideas than just, I'm a home inspector, right? Get one or else you'll lose millions of dollars on this money pit, okay? You're helping them, of course, make or avoid expensive mistakes. That's what they're buying. They're buying more than peace of mind. They're buying an identity. And this is the real shift that we're going to get to here now. So you're thinking, okay, I make Instagram videos or I do marketing. So what exactly is it that I should do differently? Like, what are you saying? Right? You're saying I'm not selling inspections. I'm selling a transformation, or this emotional stability that people want. From going from fear into confidence. So how do I make that in practical ways? So I'll just say that you need to stop marketing like it's a transaction. I had a guy, like I mentioned before, who said that we need to, light a fire under people's ass, to get them to buy a home inspection. And I had another home inspector I spoke with who said that when I asked him about what happens to the buyers when he's inspecting the homes, he goes, I don't really even know if they end up buying the homes. So we were going to work on sending letters to kind of re-engage these people. And the point there is that this can be a long-term thing. When you treat it as a transaction, people will see you as a transactional provider of services. But you can elevate this from a one-time thing to an inspection transaction that goes on forever, where you're not just a home inspector, you're the protector of their home, where you're doing 6-month check-ins, 1-year check-ins, so forth and so on. When you think about it like that, this makes this whole concept easier to understand, where it's not a one-time thing, it's a lifetime thing. One more thing about that. So instead of the attic videos, I'm out in the field, I found this broken thing. You can tell stories of transformation. That's what I think is really missing here, is tell the stories about what the home was really saying, right? Did you save someone $10,000 on a deal, right? Because you found something, right? Did you help the home buyer renegotiate? Where are those stories? I never see those videos online. And that's the real opportunity, is to share the human stories that happen with home inspections, right? Where maybe you meet a guy, you meet Joe Smith, right? He's buying a home, him and his wife, where he's really nervous, and you sit him down and you go through a process and you do the walkthrough. And by the end of it, when you follow up with him on a phone call, you walk him through, he says, hey man, I'm so glad that you helped me out with this home inspection. I feel so much better. I'm confident going into this deal now, or I feel like I'm protecting my family. That's a story worth telling, and no one's telling it. And that's your opportunity. And for the industry itself, I think that's the real opportunity. So that's how you go from being Joe home inspector to unforgettable, inevitable, where you're not just a business, you're an authority. And this is kind of how I want to illustrate what exactly I mean to finalize this concept. Is this is a ladder, right? So ladder 1, you're the commodity. I'll call this a technician. You're inspecting homes. A lot of this is fear-based marketing. You might say something like, oh, don't go into a money pit, or you can lose thousands of dollars, right? Like, oh, if you don't find this defect, you'll lose millions of dollars, whatever it might be, something fear related. Okay, and that's quick and easy. A lot of people run with that, but it makes you the commodity service, right? It's like me saying, come to my restaurant if you're hungry. I have good food. If you don't, then you'll starve, right? It might be an exaggeration. That's kind of the same idea. Level 2, right? We're going from the technician, and we're now going to the problem solver. This is a little bit better. This is more about your process, how you do things. So this could be, my report helps you with clarity. It helps you save time on buying the home, or it can find defects that protect you. And this is good, right? But this is where a lot of home inspectors sit at as well, right? So you have the technician, the problem solver. You can also call this kind of the protector. I'll protect you from a bad decision. Number 3, though, this is where I'm getting at. This is the whole idea behind this. This is the aspirational rung. So technician, problem solver, aspirational identity. This is where you're taking someone, instead of advertising or marketing your service, you're marketing an identity. You're marketing a story. So instead of it being, I'm selling a home inspection, it's, you become the type of person who makes smarter buying decisions. You become the type of person who buys with confidence. You're the type of person who, by doing this home inspection and going through this process, you're going to be proud of yourself for protecting your family, right? You can say that this is a higher calling. This is the land of storytelling. This is the land of myth and identity and even community building, right? And this is what makes something last. This is what makes a great brand last. So instead of selling a service, sell a story. That's, if anything you walk away with from this, watching this video and giving me your time, run with that. Stop selling services, start selling your story. If this message resonated with you and you'd like to learn more, click below and subscribe to Home Inspection Empire. See you in the next video.